India has achieved a major milestone in the digital realm with a staggering 89.5 million digital transactions being registered in the year 2022. To talk more about this, joining us on the program is Mr. Jaijit Bhattacharya, President of the Center for Digital Economy Policy Research. Is it going to be possible, Mr. Bhattacharya, that in the near future, there will be a possibility that the physical currency will completely be phased out, and for that you also have to work, the government has to work on a lot of apprehensions, a lot of stereotypes which are still related to money and physical currency in especially rural India?
Just look at it from an economics perspective. We are burning about 4,000 crores of rupees every year to print money, to print currency. We are spending another 1,700 crores to mint the coins. So we are roughly burning about 5,500 crores every year to maintain the physical cash and the coins that we are all using. Now, is it worth it? We are moving everything towards digital, which is far cheaper, easier, better to control, better to manage, easier to do a transaction. It's a no-brainer that the entire society will move towards digital money in one form or the other. It may move towards the CBDC, which is the e-rupee that Dr. Kohli talked about, or it'll continue to go on an accelerated pace in terms of the UPI transactions, which is account-to-account transfer transactions, which happen through the smartphones. So both will accelerate, and for sure, at some point in time, people will say, well, why am I keeping a single rupee in my pocket? It's not needed. I have the phone. I can do all transactions through the phone. Now, having said that, as we speak, the government is actually putting out its entire infrastructure for the entire world to adopt through the initiatives taken through G20 and other initiatives. We have seen the government actually having an open source version of the fundamental digital public infrastructure called the identity infrastructure, and it is open sourced it in the form of something called MOSEP. And so countries like Sri Lanka, Philippines, Ethiopia, they're all adopting this particular digital public infrastructure which is coming from India. The next step, once you have the identity infrastructure in place, which we call as Aadhaar, the next step is obviously to put in the UPI. And as we are speaking, there are already many countries which are started following up our infrastructure of UPI and mimicking that. And the account-to-account transfer is spreading across the world based on the leadership that India has already demonstrated. And what kind of leadership? If you look at the NPCI data, and NPCI runs UPI, as per their data, in the month of May, we almost touched 10 billion transactions in a month. In terms of volumes, it's almost 15 trillion rupees of transaction that we did on the UPI infrastructure. That is bigger than the GDPs of many countries. Forget about what transaction others do. It's bigger than the GDP of most countries in the world. And that's the kind of leadership that India is providing, that it is not just a few transactions, not a pilot that we're running. We're running it at a population scale across 1.4 billion people. And that has been, we have been able to do it on the back of a fantastic digital infrastructure that we have rolled out, which includes both connectivity and access devices. And Dr. Kohli talked about the access devices, so I'll not focus on that. But in terms of connectivity at a furious pace, we're getting the 4G saturation project being rolled out. We're getting the BharatNet 3, which is a fiber optic project which connects every part of the country, every village in the country. That's being rolled out at a furious pace. So it is not just the last layer of an app or a stack that has been pushed there. It is also the very physical infrastructure of digging the earth, putting in fiber, setting up towers, giving 4G, giving 5G, coming out with the India-specific protocols on it. For example, the 5GI, which is the Indian protocol within the 5G stack. There's an enormous amount of work that has been done to reach a stage where we are now doing 10 billion transactions a month and 15 trillion rupees in a month in terms of value.